NASA, once the global gold standard in space exploration, is now witnessing a staggering shift that threatens to erase decades of hard-earned expertise and leadership. Nearly 4,000 of its civil service employees, roughly 20% of the workforce, have opted to leave in recent months through voluntary buyout programs. But here's where it gets controversial. This mass departure appears largely driven by internal fears over looming budget cuts proposed during the Trump administration, creating an unprecedented talent drain with serious consequences for America's space ambitions. In July, NASA disclosed that around 3,000 employees were approved for early retirement or similar workforce reduction options, building on an earlier wave where 870 staff members had already departed. This exodus is not just a simple downsizing. It disproportionately impacts NASA's most senior scientists, engineers, and administrators, individuals whose decades of accumulated knowledge and experience form the backbone of the agency's success. Imagine losing veterans who have been part of missions that defined space exploration, from Apollo to the Space Shuttle era, all within a matter of months. The loss of this institutional memory has sparked alarm both inside NASA and among the wider space community, including former astronauts and mission leaders. One ex-NASA official expressed to Space News the deep concern over watching irreplaceable expertise walk out the door. This sentiment is echoed by hundreds of current and past NASA employees who signed the Voyager Declaration. This declaration highlights how critical it is to safeguard the expertise and resources that have made NASA a beacon in space exploration. Adding fuel to the fire, NASA's new acting administrator, Sean Duffy, who also serves as the U.S. Secretary of Transportation, has been notably silent about the full scale of this workforce upheaval. His initial memo to NASA staff hinted at refocusing efforts on what really matters, but offered no direct acknowledgement of the massive departures. Curiously, the memo ended with a typo, "thank you," which many employees took as a subtle symbol of leadership's disconnect from the reality faced by rank-and-file workers. Compounding frustrations, a follow-up message expressing gratitude to those leaving arrived too late for many ex-employees who had already lost access to their official NASA email accounts. Fueling feelings of neglect and low morale within the agency, the turmoil doesn't stop at the personnel level. Just days after the Voyager Declaration brought attention to NASA's internal crisis, Mackenzie Lystrup, the director of NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, resigned. This leadership loss underscores concerns voiced in the declaration about how proposed budget cuts could not only stall critical projects, but strain vital partnerships with international allies like the European Space Agency, ESA, and Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, JAXA. These collaborations have been essential for landmark missions such as ExoMars and deep space telescopic research. Without strong global partnerships and seasoned experts, there is a real fear that NASA could lose its long-standing position as the undisputed leader in space. At the heart of this upheaval lies a contentious proposal from the White House aiming to slash $3.6 billion from NASA's science programs. While Senate committees have strongly pushed back, advocating to restore or protect these funds, the battle is far from over. The president retains the power to sidestep congressional opposition and enforce these reductions. Should that happen, the agency could face even more voluntary departures and possibly enforced layoffs, exacerbating the already critical brain drain. Currently, NASA finds itself in a precarious position, struggling to maintain momentum on ambitious programs like Artemis, which aims to return humans to the moon, alongside other planetary exploration efforts. All while grappling with a rapidly shrinking pool of experienced talent. The choices and compromises made in the coming months will likely determine whether NASA continues to hold its prestigious spot at the forefront of global space exploration, or begins to cede ground to emerging space powers such as China and India. So, what do you think? Is this a necessary evolution in NASA's history, or are we witnessing a dangerous decline that could set back space exploration for decades? Should leadership do more to address morale and acknowledge the workforce's concerns? Share your thoughts. This is a debate that hits at the very core of America's vision for its future in space.